What are you waiting for? Not like when you're at a bus stop or at line in a store. It sounds like such a simple question, doesn't it? But when you really sit with it, when you stop scrolling and distracting yourself, you realize how heavy it is. What are you waiting for before you decide to finally start living the life that you know you're capable of? There's an irony in the human condition. The time only moves forward. Most of us will live as if it will loop back to give us another chance. We tell ourselves stories. When I finish school, when I have more money, when I get the right job. But readiness is a mirage. You can chase it forever and never arrive. We wait for permission, we wait for clarity, we wait for a version of ourselves that feels qualified to begin. But here's the truth. That day doesn't exist. Readiness is not a state to be achieved. It is a story we tell ourselves to justify inertia. We do not become ready before acting. We become ready through acting. Socrates once said, "The unexamined life is not worth living." But let's examine this in reverse. How many of us are living unlived lives? A life postponed, a life deferred to the future. Marcus Aurelius, writing in his Meditations nearly 2,000 years ago, reminded himself daily that time is fleeting. He said, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." And yet here we are, scrolling through calendars, ourselves that next month, next year, or next season will be when we start. Psychology even has a name for this. Delay discounting. It's the tendency to prefer a small reward now over a bigger reward later. Ironically, with our dreams, we reverse it. We sacrifice the joy of beginning now for the fantasy of a perfect future. We overvalue the future and undervalue the present. We imagine that tomorrow we will be wiser, stronger, and more prepared. But tomorrow is just today in disguise. If you don't move today, why would tomorrow be any different? The machinery of delay has simply become more sophisticated. Productivity tools, endless entertainment, curated distraction. We mistake motion for momentum, preparation for progress. Our brains are not wired for long-term vision, wired for survival. Neuroscience shows us that the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for planning and long-term goals, is constantly battling with the limbic system, the part craving comfort and safety. That's why procrastination feels so natural. Your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort, from risk, from the unknown. But here's the paradox. Safety in excess becomes its own kind of prison. By always seeking comfort, we sacrifice growth. The same brain that tells us to wait until tomorrow is the same brain that one day will ask us, "Why didn't you start sooner?" History is full of people who began before they were ready. The writer who started with rejection after rejection. The inventor who failed dozens of times before the breakthrough. The leader who stood up with trembling hands and a cracking voice. Readiness didn't arrive for them. They forged it in motion. And yet, you and I, we wait. We wait for some invisible signal that it's finally time. But think of your own life. How many opportunities have already slipped through your fingers? How many things never happened? How many chances did you miss from waiting? It's not that we don't know what to do. It's that we keep convincing ourselves that we'll do it later. But later is the most dangerous word in the human vocabulary. Later has buried more dreams than failure ever has. Modern life has given us infinite ways to wait. Social media, endless scrolling, streaming TV shows and movies, all designed to keep us in a passive consumption state rather than an active one. We live in what philosophers call the age of distraction. Our waiting is disguised as busyness, refreshing inboxes, checking notifications, planning but never starting. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste most of it. He was right. We treat time as if it's renewable, like we can spend hours, days, even years in waiting, as if the hourglass will always refill. But it doesn't. Think of the blunt truth. You don't get a second chance to replay this exact day. The clock is ticking whether you act or not. And one day you may look back and realize that all your waiting didn't buy you anything but regret. Psychologists studying regret have found that when we look back on our lives, we don't regret the things we did nearly as much as the things we left undone. We regret the words unsaid, the risk unattempted, the life unlived. And yet, still, we wait. We wait for courage, when in truth, courage is discovered only after you act. We wait for certainty, when in reality, certainty never comes. We wait for the perfect moment, not realizing that the perfect moment is always disguised as this one. When psychologists interviewed those nearing the end of life, a pattern emerged. People seldom regret what they attempted and failed. Instead, they regret what they postponed until it was no longer possible. Regret is not born of failure. It is born of absence. It is the awareness that life was offered again and again, and we declined the invitation. We imagine that caution protects us from pain. In truth, it merely guarantees a different kind of suffering, the slow ache of never tried. And so the question evolves, not merely what are you waiting for, but what will waiting cost you? So again, I'll ask you, what are you waiting for? If it's courage, you will only find it in the act itself. If it's certainty, you will never have it. If it's the perfect moment, look closer. You're already in it. Think about the people who only discover this too late. Someone who works 40 years at a job they hate, waiting until retirement to finally live, only to find that their health is gone. Someone who waits to travel and explore, always saying, I'll do it later, until later never arrives. Life is not waiting for you. Life does not pause for you to get ready. The days keep turning, the seasons keep changing, the sand keeps slipping through the glass. And one day your hourglass will be empty. That is not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Because only once you truly understand how little time you have, you stop waiting and you start living. Because the truth is simple. The life you want won't move closer while you wait. It only moves closer when you begin. Your life is already happening. And the question one day you will ask yourself is not, was I ready? But did I begin? So don't wait. Don't bury your potential in the word later. Begin now, clumsily, fearfully, and when that day comes, will you be grateful that you waited, or will you wish you begun sooner? So, I'll leave you with one last question. Not to answer tomorrow, not to push off until later, but for right here, right now. What are you waiting for? If you made it this far, thank you, genuinely. This is my first video here on the channel, and even pressing record makes me feel like I'm taking my own advice. My plan for the channel is simple, to upload one video every Wednesday in 2026. And a lot of these videos are going to be about things that I wish I could have told a younger version of myself, and probably things I'll need to hear again in the future. Some of these videos will be more structured, ideas around self-improvement, discipline, purpose, fear, time, and change. And other videos will be more open about personal lessons and things I'm still working on. So this channel isn't about me having everything figured out. It's about thinking out loud, asking better questions, and choosing progress over comfort. If you got feedback, ideas, or topics you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you with a new video next Wednesday.